Hydration is one of the simplest and most powerful performance tools an athlete has. Water itself supports circulation, thermoregulation, and nutrient transport. Electrolytes keep nerves and muscles firing. Carbohydrates in fluid help sustain energy. When used thoughtfully, hydration becomes the coach at your side, keeping muscles in rhythm, delaying fatigue, and sharpening recovery. Below, I'll give a detailed, practical, evidence-based guide you can use immediately. Numbers, simple tests, examples, and ready-to-use routines for before, during, and after training or competition. Start by knowing your baseline sweat rate. This is the single most useful metric because it tells you how much fluid you actually lose, which you can then replace. Use the naked pre/post weigh method. Step 1. Weigh yourself naked before exercise, call this W. Step 2. Do your session without clothes or remove them for weighing, and record any fluid you drank, V_drink. Step 3. Immediately after, towel dry and weigh again naked, W2. Sweat loss in milliliters equals W minus W2 in kilograms times 1000 plus V_drink in ml minus urine volume in ml, if any. Example computed carefully. If W equals 70.000 kilograms and W2 equals 69.200 kilograms, weight difference equals 70.000 minus 69.200 is equal to 0.800 kg. Multiply 0.800 times 1000 is equal to 800 milliliters. If you drank 300 milliliters during the session and passed no urine, total fluid lost equals 800 plus 300 is equal to 1100 ml. If the session lasted 60 minutes, 1 hour, sweat rate equals 1100 milliliters / 1.0 H equals 1100 milliliters per hour. Knowing this lets you plan how much to sip under those conditions, heat, intensity. Pre-exercise hydration should ensure you begin with normal plasma volume. A practical protocol: 5 to 7 milliliters per kg body weight about 4 hours before exercise. For a 70 kilograms athlete, that is 350 to 490 milliliters. If urine remains dark, add another 3 to 5 ml/kg about 2 hours before start. For shorter, low-intensity sessions, less than 60 minutes, beginning normally hydrated, plain water is usually sufficient. For longer sessions, heavy sweat, or hot conditions, include sodium in your pre-exercise plan, for example a salty snack or a sports drink, so you don't start low on electrolytes. During exercise, match intake to your sweat rate and event demands. For most recreational athletes, limiting body weight loss to less than about 2% over the activity is a reasonable goal. Elite athletes may aim for less than 1 to 2% where possible to preserve high-level performance. Practical sipping guidelines: 150 to 350 milliliters every 15 to 20 minutes is useful starting advice. Adjust upward if your measured sweat rate is higher. For workouts under 60 minutes, water is fine. For sessions lasting 60 to 120 minutes, especially at moderate to high intensity or in heat, use a drink containing carbohydrates and electrolytes. Typical sports drinks have 6 to 8% carbohydrate, that is 6 to 8 g per 100 milliliters, or roughly 60 to 80 g per liter, which balances energy and gastric comfort. Carbohydrate intake during exercise should generally be 30 to 60 g per hour. For ultra-endurance efforts, multi-transportable carbohydrate blends can allow up to 90 g per hour for athletes who have trained their gut to tolerate it. Electrolytes matter because sweat contains sodium and chloride, and prolonged loss without replacement can impair performance and increase risk of cramps or hyponatremia if fluid replacement dilutes serum sodium. Sports drinks typically supply sodium in the approximate range of 300 to 700 milligrams per liter. Values vary by brand. For long or hot events, aim to replace sodium as well as fluid. This can be achieved through sports drinks, electrolyte tablets, or salty foods during longer breaks. If you know you are a heavy sweater with salty sweat, plan to include more sodium. Post-exercise recovery must replace both fluid and electrolytes. Use your measured weight change to guide rehydration. Replace about 125 to 150% of the fluid lost in the 4 to 6 hours after exercise to account for ongoing losses and to restore balance. For example, if you lost 1.0 L during training, Aim to drink 1.25 to 1.5 L over the next several hours and include 300 to 700 milligrams of sodium per liter in recovery fluids or food, including some carbohydrate. Operator 1.0, 1.2 g/kg in the first hour for glycogen repletion after intense endurance exercise enhances recovery, especially for repeated sessions in a day. Practical, athlete-focused rules of thumb that work in the real world. Weigh yourself before and after key sessions to build a sweat rate profile for different conditions. Use that data to prepare bottles with measured volumes. If you're racing, practice drinking the same type/amount of fluids in training as you will on race day. Acclimatization to heat over 7 to 14 days reduces the sodium concentration of sweat and improves thermoregulatory efficiency. Plan to gradually increase training heat exposure rather than jump in full tilt. In many modern sports settings, drink to thirst is an acceptable baseline for most athletes, but for long events or very hot conditions, combine thirst cues with a pre-planned fluid schedule based on measured sweat rate to prevent both dehydration and overdrinking. Watch for warning signs. Dehydration shows as dizziness, marked fatigue, heavy dark urine, and decreased power output. Overdrinking without electrolyte replacement risks hyponatremia. Symptoms begin with nausea and headache and can progress to confusion and seizures. Endurance athletes in particular should avoid drinking only plain water during long events, include electrolytes, and consume carbohydrates to sustain performance. If you have a medical condition, take medications that affect fluid balance, are pregnant, or are an adolescent or older athlete, get individualized guidance from a sports physician or a dietitian. Fluid needs change with age, body composition, and health status. There are simple tools to make hydration habitual and precise. Carry pre-filled bottles labeled with target milliliters, use sweat rate charts for common sessions, place a small notebook or app entry to track pre/post weights and environmental conditions, and pack both water and an electrolyte option for training. During events, start sipping early, don't wait until you're desperate, but avoid forcing excess volume beyond your plan. Use palatable, familiar drinks. Your gut tolerates what it's trained to process. Finally, hydration is an ongoing, trainable skill. Gut training for carbohydrate tolerance, practicing drinking under load, and regularly measuring sweat response in different climates turns guesswork into a repeatable system. When you treat fluid strategy as part of your training rather than an afterthought, you give yourself smoother energy, better thermoregulation, and faster recovery. Water and electrolytes acting like a quiet coach who keeps your muscles in rhythm and lets your performance speak for itself.